The recent pandemic caused by COVID-19 has put a halt on many events and activities, but one thing that hasn't been canceled is the 2020 census. Nayroby Rosa-Soriano, the Director of Community Engagement at OneHolyoke CDC, spoke with Connecting Point's Zydalis Bauer about the adjustments their organization has had to make to their census outreach amid this health crisis.
OneHolyoke has been awarded a couple grants, and with these grants, we have been able to provide support for the Census Bureau to be able to get the word out, to get the census folks hired, and then to also make sure that families in undercounted communities are being counted.
All of these grants were awarded before the pandemic, the COVID-19 pandemic happened. So what are some ways that you've had to adjust to the pandemic to still get that word out to these communities?
Oh, well, we've had to do a lot of adjustments. One of the things that we were working on is we were approved to be a assigned QAC, which is a question and answer center that folks could be able to come, be able to fill out their applications for work, and then at the same time, be able to complete their census with some census staff there. Unfortunately, because of the pandemic and the social distancing, we have not been able to host any mobile sites or QAC centers. We have been doing a lot of stuff remotely. So one of the things that we had to change was our outreach as far as being available to folks. So we've done some Zoom calls with people that want to help, be able to do some census work and how to reach out to their neighborhoods. We have been present at a few of the schools in Holyoke that are providing meals to families, just with the banner, a no contact tabling, hey, census, you got it in the mail, make sure you fill it out, thank you, type of thing. Nothing where we're like discussing anything or doing anything there. We've gotten some takeaways. I know the Pioneer Valley, the Pioneer Valley Count Committee has been great. They provided us with shirts, and we got some water bottles, and we're trying to really just promote the census with things that we can give away to folks.
As Director of Community Engagement at OneHolyoke CDC, I know that you must be used to being in close contact with the community and always being out and about. So what are some of the challenges that have come about with connecting with the community virtually as opposed to being in person, reaching out?
Well, definitely. I mean, part of community engagement is a lot of hands-on work, and being able to be with residents of the community and do things together. One of my biggest campaigns last year during this time that we started on Earth Day was our cleanup campaign, and we would come together at a location, go out, start cleaning the city, and we haven't been able to start that yet because everybody's really trying to keep safe and keep following the laws, which is to be able to maintain social distancing. So, there's a lot of work and interaction that we would normally be doing. We were putting on a huge play with an exhibit with the Anne Frank story that we were going to be doing at the high school, which we've had to cancel. So there's a lot of changes that we've had to do as far as community engagement and things that we could be doing. So we're just trying to do as much as we can virtually, be there for support for our community.
Are there any benefits that have come about to connecting with the community virtually?
I think that one of the things that as a community development corporation and as well because we do have a real estate component to our corporation and our organization is being able to connect with the residents and our tenants, and so contacting them, making sure that the number that we have is the current number for them. So just reestablishing those connections is going to be very it's been more helpful because before we're all go and everybody's working, and now people are home, so we have a little bit more access.
Now, with the census for this year, many employment opportunities opened up. What happens to those people who were counting on these jobs or kind of relying on these jobs for the census now that the pandemic is happening?
a lot of the people that were relaying on these jobs, some of them have been put on hold. And so there are some virtual trainings that the census is trying to do to be able to promote, the census anyway. But the enumerators, who would have been the ones that would have been going out to people's doors, they would be getting paid that rate. They're not currently working. So those, of course, I'm sure that a lot of the families that were counting on this additional income to be able to, help their families, and unfortunately now it's put on hold. So I know that we have been working a lot, as far as me, trying to help folks with unemployment, and really trying to get some resources available into the community, and just trying to figure out, like with our tenants that are that have commercial spaces for OneHolyoke, it's okay, what about small business grants and small business loans? How can we help these small businesses that are our tenants? One of the things that our executive director has done is, if they are our commercial tenants and they've lost revenue because of this pandemic, we would only charge them what they lost. So some of our commercial tenants are getting a bit of a good sort of break in their rent because of it. So we're just doing what we can.
Are you concerned that this health crisis is going to affect the accuracy of the census?
I don't have a concern, because I think that there's a lot of work going on with the Census Bureau and with the government. One of the things that they're really working and pushing for in Congress right now is being able to extend the deadline for the census. So right now it's something that we have been informed by the census that they are trying to extend the deadline to October 31st. Before it was it would end as of July 31st. And so now they're changing that, or requesting to change that, which is going to be important, because since everything is starting so late, enumerators aren't getting out until June 1st, hopefully. There's been a delay. So they're really pushing for extending those deadlines, which I think will be very beneficial, and it should get approved based on the situation that we're dealing with. So I think that it's just, we're going to start late, but if we're able to get the goals met and getting those extensions, then I think that the push for getting the census complete will still be the same push, just at a later time.
And I know many people receive the census and they just might fill it out, not even thinking twice about it. But why is it so important for people to fill it out and for these counts to be accurate?
So a lot of the work that we are doing has a lot to do with a lot of the funding that we receive into the communities. So, for example, if 40,000 people are in Holyoke and only 30,000 people fill out the census, there's a 10,000 shortage of folks that are not counted. Because of that shortage, then when we go to request funds from the federal government, we're only going to get funds for the 30,000 that actually counted. So it's so important for folks to make sure that they fill it out, that they put everyone in their household, that, they don't shy away from, this person is not on my lease, or, all those other taboos that they've heard that don't really exist, because if they get counted, then the services in the community are going to be established.
Now, despite the pandemic, you've actually been seeing pretty great results for the work that you've been doing. Can you talk to us about those numbers that you've been seeing?
Absolutely, yes. In Holyoke itself, we have right now a 50% response rate, which means 50% of our residents in Holyoke have already responded to the census, which is huge, because that's leading in the state a lot of the other cities. So the national census response has been 53%, and Massachusetts is also at 53%. So we're in a point right now where half of our state has responded, and then in Holyoke, half of our Holyoke residents have responded. So that looks really good. And I think that the more work that we have done, and I think that it's something that we have been pushing since it started back in August last year, is we're trying trying our best to make sure that everyone in the community gets counted.
Now more people are home, so they have more access to be able to fill out the census, but how can they fill out the census? You mentioned the deadlines, but what are different ways that they're able to fill out this form?
So the census gives you the option. You can do it online. That's the fastest, quickest way to fill it out. That you would get your census form in the mail. It has a unique code. That code pertains to your household. You would go online into the census, mycensus2020.gov, and you would fill out your census form using your unique code. Answer the 10 questions, you're all done. You can also fill out the form that you received in the mail and send it back in the mail, or you can actually call the 888 number 330-2020, and you can actually fill out the census with a representative over the phone. So there's 3 ways that people can get it done. Eventually, we hope to have the mobile sites where people can go to a particular site like ours at our Flats Community Building and be able to fill out their census online using our devices, because not everybody has access to internet. Not everyone is computer savvy where they can't really use the system that's available, but definitely the goal is to have those sites for folks that don't have the access.